All right, guys, welcome, welcome, welcome to everyone who is just tuning in, whether you are on mobile, whether you are on desktop. Welcome, 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 guys. I am so excited, guys, to introduce you to an amazing, phenomenal boss babe, guys. She is literally breaking records, killing it out here. Okay, she has a massive girl gang empire, guys, and I'm so excited to introduce you guys to her. But before we get into the good stuff and before we introduce you to this amazing boss babe, for those of you guys who are new, for those of you guys who are just tuning in, and if you're not familiar with who I am or what we're doing, my name is Virginia LaFontaine. I'm the founder of I'm She Squad and as well as Funnel to Five Figures and Beyond Summits. And so I am a content strategist. I teach entrepreneurs how to literally find their expertise, package it, and also make profit from it. But enough about me, guys. It's really all about you for those of you guys who are on with us today. And I'm sure if you're on, most definitely you are excited about the information that Elaine is about to share with you. And so that she's not a complete stranger, guys, just a little background about Elaine. She's a former national wedding sales manager. She lost her brother in law, her job, and her home all in 1 week, guys. Comment below if you've experienced that before, where you can say, "Oh my God, there has been a time when I lost everything, when I literally reached rock bottom." She was stuck in a third world country with no job opportunities, guys. She had to learn how to make an income online. So she spent her last bit of savings, $12.18 to be exact, guys, and invested in a blog domain called ladybossblogger.com. And some of you guys have heard of this as well. So she actually has garnered a massive audience of over 150,000 guys under 2 years. It's a platform that helps female entrepreneurs learn how to start, grow, and scale their own online business and blogs. She has been featured in Huffington Post and over 100 other websites, guys. Let's say she's famous. Okay, let's just say it like that. She's famous. Okay. And she's also has been on magazines, books, and blogs. So I'm really excited to finally introduce you, okay, to Elaine Rao. Thank you so much, Elaine, for hopping on.
Thank you so much for having me. Then what an amazing introduction.
Yes, awesome. I'm so excited to have you on. I know everyone else is excited to have you on. And so before we even get into the good stuff, if you can of course, I know I said a lot, but you know more about you than I do. So if you can kind of share with us your story, how did you get started with your journey?
Yeah. So, I mean, a lot of people ask me, like, how did you lose your brother-in-law? How did you lose your house? How did you lose your, all those things? Let me tell you. So basically, I was in the wedding industry. I loved it. It was my life. I thought that that would be my career. But one day, my fiance from overseas, actually, he was my boyfriend at the time, called. He's from Honduras, and he called from Honduras, and he told me that his brother had just he had just found his brother, and his brother had just been murdered. And so basically, I told my boss, and I was like, hey. Can I go to Honduras to go, to attend the funeral and just stuff like that? I would even work there. And he said no.
Mm,
So I was like, okay, obviously basically he made me choose between career and family. And of course I chose family. So I quit, packed up my life into, one suitcase and moved. So a little harder transition than I expected. I mean, number one, it's a developing country, so there's not the same opportunities. And additionally, I don't speak Spanish, so I had no idea what I was doing. And thirdly, I didn't know how to. Just didn't know what I was doing. I felt like, I mean, I was like borderline depressed. It was they're just purposeless. I had no reason for waking up. I did a few remote jobs, but they were very unfulfilling, and I was just like, what am I doing? I came down to help him, but I'm like just a whole mess. And so basically I
wow.
decided to start a blog so I could focus my thoughts on the future and give me a task, honestly, to do so that I could wake up every morning. So I named it Lady Boss Blogger because I wanted to become a lady boss, and I also wanted to become a blogger, but I had no idea how to do that. And so I started learning. Um, and I could have women and just started interviewing them so that I could learn what they did in order to become a lady boss and whatever that meant. And actually, I didn't even know entrepreneurship was a thing until like the year prior. I would actually move to Chicago, and I started meeting all these entrepreneurs, out of college, and I was like, oh my God, what is this thing? Because I come from a family of professors, so I always thought it was just, that's what you do.
Wow.
But yeah, I saw their lifestyle, I saw how much money they were making. I saw like their perspective on life. And I was like, I want that. But why are they all men? And so I wanted to
Mm.
find the woman out there. And so basically, and also ironically, as I worked in the wedding industry, all my bosses were male. And I'm not a feminist and
Mm.
I'm not like, but I am about woman empowerment. And I definitely feel that like, so I was like, what's going on with the system? Let me seek out the woman because they need to be elevated, highlighted, and if they're not given the opportunity, they need to be, given that. And so I couldn't find the platform that I was looking for. That's why I created it myself. And so I was basically, I learned everything through my blog. And so I know that it works. And so I'm kind of like my own, my first guinea pig of just
Yeah.
learning online. And so yeah, so basically, yeah, 2 years later, I can't believe how much it's grown. I can't believe where it took me. But all I did was just take action every single day and just learn. So that's the beginning of Lady Boss Blogger.
Wow. Yes. And I love that you said something so important. And everyone that's listening, watching, I hope you write this down because you said basically that you created your own opportunities, right? You created your own opportunities. You found a need. You found something that was not there, or something that was lacking, or something that wasn't, very prominent or very popular, or you just, it maybe wasn't a norm where I don't know, where you were, or something that you haven't seen as often. And you
Mhm.
capitalized from that and you created your own opportunity. Instead of waiting for someone to create it, you decide, you know what, I'm going to create my own thing. And I love that. And so, just the fact that you started from nothing, right? You started from nothing, knowing nothing pretty much. And you're basically a blogging coach, right? You teach other boss babes how to also profit from their blogs, right?
Yes, I honestly, that's another thing. I actually did not want to do that, but
Oh.
I listened to my audience, and that's what, like, basically I was talking about entrepreneurship, about startups, about business tips and techniques, but everybody kept on asking me about blogging, and so I
Hmm.
was like, all right, let me just whip this course up real quick because everyone keeps on asking me the same exact questions. So I basically, yeah, I gave in to peer pressure.
Yeah, yeah. But I love that you mentioned that. And I always say, if you're an entrepreneur, the number one thing that you need to be doing is listening to your audience. And obviously, your audience is going to tell you what's the right thing to do with your brand. And the fact that you listened to your audience because they kept saying, I want to learn more about blogging. I want to learn more about blogging. You're just like, why are you keep asking me?
Right, because I was like, I don't want to be a blogger that blogs about blogging. Come on.
Mhm. Yeah, but
But that's what I
obviously,
am.
right, right, right. So, if you can reflect back from the beginning of, starting your brand and the beginning of starting your first blog, what would you say from, if you compare it from where you were in the beginning, from where you are today, what would you say are some of the major things that that you know now that you wish you knew like day one, day one of building your brand?
Definitely email. So
Mm.
I didn't start my email list until I hit 100,000 followers, and that's like my number one regret. It's number one regret across the table for every single blogger that didn't start their email
Mm.
marketing like day one. So basically, as however many followers you have, that's how many people should be in your list.
Mm.
Because that's the number one way to like maintain them and to build relationships. Yes, social media is amazing. However, like for example, if my Facebook or my Instagram was shut down tomorrow because you're not in control of your social media, right? You're like, it's kind of like you're renting out a space,
Mhm.
a handle on their software, on their platform, and then you're just using it. Versus email software, you're purchasing it, therefore you own it, therefore those contacts are yours, therefore you can do whatever it is that you want with them. So I feel like, yeah, definitely email marketing. I would have focused a lot more on that and started learning the
Awesome, awesome. And so, because I think, especially for those of you guys who are bloggers, sometimes I believe bloggers feel, because yesterday we had a training, and one of our speakers mentioned something about how most entrepreneurs are very linear minded, where everything just has to be one way. If it's not one way, then there's no way, right? But as entrepreneurs, we have to be creative about everything that we have. If we have one pencil, as I was stating yesterday, then how can we multiply? What can we do with this one pencil? How many ways can we sell it? How many ways can we flip it? And so I love how you mentioned how basically you found a way to really monetize your blog, multiple ways. But before you started monetizing with email marketing, what was your main revenue coming from before you finally figured out that, hey,
I
there's actually
actually,
money
yeah.
with email marketing?
Well, I started monetizing my blog actually a week in. So basically, what I did was I started the woman that I reached out to. I was like, you know what? I wonder if they would pay me for my time to feature them.
Mm,
So because I had no other skills, I was like, well, this is what I'm doing. So maybe I'll see if people will pay me like $5, And I was like, okay. So I reached out to 100 women. 10 women got back to me, and then one girl said yes. And
oh,
her motto was actually failure is not an option. That was her motto of, and that was, I think, the her brand as well, failure is not option.com. And I was like, wow, I took it as a sign and I just ran with it. So
wow.
that's how it all started actually. Yeah.
Wow. And so do you still talk to her till this day?
I don't. I should reach
Okay.
out back out to her.
Wow.
Yeah.
You should be like, hey, don't you remember?
Yeah. I don't think that
Look,
she knew
look.
that she was the first one.
Oh, yeah. Wow. So you
Yeah,
most
because I had
definitely.
like a bunch of other interviews on there. So I
Mhm.
wasn't like, yeah, I mean, I have no idea.
Wow, that is amazing. Awesome. So, so you said during your first week of launching your blog is when you started making income.
Yeah. Hmm. And then
Awesome.
and it just kind of grew ever since then. So basically, after that, I was like, what if, the next month my traffic grew a little bit, my, social media grew a little bit. So I was like, what if I charge $10? And then it
Mhm.
went 20, 25, 30, 35, da, 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 da. So every month it just kept on growing, and I just kept on doing the same thing over and over again.
Right.
And then after a year, I was like, yo, this is exhausting. So I was like, all right, I need to figure out some different way, like not like, so like, because I'm exchanging my time as in essence for
Mm,
my service, right? So I was like, I need to figure out some way to not have this like something else. So I started learning about affiliate marketing. So I started tapping into that. Took the course by Michelle Gardner.
mhm.
She's like a six-figure blogger. I love her. I think she's halfy like me.
Okay.
Like a half Asian, half white.
Mhm.
Um, but basically, yeah, I took that and I was like, oh, okay, this is how you do it. So I started adding affiliate marketing to it. And then after half a year of that, I started learning about course creation. And that's when I started creating all my courses. And then that's taken off. So now there's 3 different ways of income stream now.
Wow, that is awesome. And so basically, you started increasing the different revenues or the different avenues that you basically had to bring in more profit. So
Mhm.
as
Oh,
far as
the
uh-huh,
fourth one is actually affiliate is influencer. So basically, as my following grew, so basically I started being called an influencer. I wasn't really familiar with that term initially, but I was like, okay, let me just go with it because the influencer marketing is not a new concept.
mhm,
It's just called something different.
right.
But basically, yeah. So then now I have income from that as well. So it kind of went hand in hand.
Wow. Now, that is very powerful, and I hope everyone really takes advantage of this because a lot of people don't understand that as you're growing, as your brand grows, you also grow as well because it
Hmm.
does reflect on you at the end of the
Yep.
day. Yeah. So, and I love also I see that you because I have noticed some brands they don't do that, and also even me personally, I'm gonna start doing that. But I love that you actually don't only build a platform for boss blogger, but you also create your own personal brand
Mhm.
where because I do see that you're starting to brand your page now, and you have the quotes, and then
Yeah.
your handle. I'm like, okay, I see you, Elaine. Even how
Hashtag
to
Elaine
do it.
Brown, check it out.
That's right. And that's awesome, because I think sometimes we forget that, at the end of the day, it's awesome to have your own brand, but if you're not personally the brand, right? Because of you still want to monetize you at the end of the day as well. You want to have, as many revenue streams coming to you. And so I love that you also do that, and you're also teaching other bloggers that, hey, it's awesome to have a blog if it's not a lifestyle blog, whatever the case is, and it's about something else, but also monetize you as your own personal brand as well. I love that. So as far as email marketing, kind of share with us, what are some things that has really helped you with email marketing? What would you say has been the biggest revenue from email marketing? Because I think a lot of people are confused about email marketing. When they hear it, they're just like, okay, what do you mean? I just sell emails and then all of a sudden money comes from where?
Yep, yep.
How exactly can someone that's new set up, create an email list, start an email list, and start monetizing? What are some elements they would actually need to finally start making some money?
Well, yeah, email is definitely the long haul. Like you have to think of it as something like you're building an asset, right? Which it is an asset. But basically you have to constantly deliver good content. For every like 10 pieces, 20 pieces of good content, it's like, and that you'll have like a sales pitch. So it's basically you have to have amazing content surrounded by whatever the product is, and the content that you're creating is actually going to be what you're selling. So basically how I would think about it is actually flipped. I would actually create like a little course first,
Hmm.
um that's like where it is, and then you'll create a mini free course about that paid course, that's like a little sneak preview, and then you would send that free course or have people sign up for that free course via email. So basically you create, like what I have is I have a 7-day how to start a money making blog course, and then so people would sign up. It's free every single day. They get a new email, a new piece of content, so they're like getting more and more familiar with you, they're getting more comfortable with you, and by the 7th day they're like, wow, this person actually knows what they're talking about. So if
Hmm.
you created a stellar free course, they will you built trust with them already, and because it's delivered over a course of a few days, they're they're used to receiving your emails, so you're kind of
Hmm.
training them in a sense,
Right.
to like and look out for your content specifically, because there's so much content out there, right? So why should they focus on you? So
Wow.
then
Yeah.
but then by the 7th day, then send an email like, hey, like did you sign up for the paid course? Here's if you want to continue your education with me, this is how you do it. And so basically that's kind of how you do it. That's how you can automate your systems versus you pitching every single time. It's like they literally go through your system, you give them the best content that you got, you don't have to reiterate it one over and over again, and then if they like what you have to say, if they trust you, if they want to do it, they will. So that's the best way to automate your sales process.
Yeah.
So yeah, so create a paid course, then the sneak preview, free preview, and then get people into your list. That's how you can generate money.
Yeah. Oh my God, that is so powerful. And I love that you mentioned how you think backwards. And I think sometimes, I would say maybe 95% of entrepreneurs, they don't do this. They-
Well, I think that like I didn't think like that before because I
Mhm.
wasn't there. It's
Mhm.
hard. It's really, really hard to think like that until you get there.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So don't feel bad if you don't think like that.
Right, right. Yeah,
Mhm.
but I love that you shared that, and that mindset and that perspective, because a lot of entrepreneurs, they're usually just thinking about right now, not about, like, the future, or not really about, okay, what are my intentions from doing, posting this one post? What are my intentions for, posting this on social media? What are my intentions for, sending out this email? Is there
Mhm.
something that I'm leading up to? What is that
Mhm.
end goal? So I love that you first cleared out, you mapped out exactly, okay, what is my end goal? Now that I know what my end goal is, now let's think backwards. How can I get them to that end goal? And so basically, I love how you talked about how you then started thinking about, okay, so what are some of the freebies that I can create to build, that relationship, to nurture them, to show them that I know my stuff. I know how to make you some money with blogging.
Right.
Right. And then leading them up to that course. So I love that you share that. And also, you said another really powerful thing. You talked about value. Can you kind of talk to us a little bit more about that? Because I think a lot of entrepreneurs also miss this point where, yes, you can sell, sell, sell. That's awesome. But you can also lose your audience by just pitching all the time if you're not really giving them first. So, kind of share with us, how did you get to that point? I'm not too sure if in the beginning you were always like this, or did you have to finally realize, okay, maybe I'm just promoting too much? Maybe I need to start building a relationship, start providing value. How was that process for you?
Well, I think because my platform has always been about highlighting other women and about elevating other people, it was just to me, I didn't think about it as promoting per se. I was thinking about it like, hey, this is for you. You know what I mean? And so and obviously I come from a sales background. So it's not, it was a little easier for me to be like, hey, to like learn how to pitch it and stuff
Mhm.
like that. But I feel like um, I had to jump over the hurdle of going from like a service to a product. For some reason that was like weird for me, and which is why I created the course, because I was like kind of nervous about pitching it for some reason, because it is a hefty course. I mean, it's like a 6-month course, so like I don't know, to build credibility. So I would say, wait, I forgot your question.
um, it's fine. That happens to me all the time. But basically, how did you lead up to that point where you finally realized? But it seems like you answered the question where your brand was always about providing value. But what would you suggest for other service providers or product providers who don't really know how to, provide value first? Because a lot of people, they're so trained to sell, sell, sell just because they have a product and they have to sell it. But how do you shift your mindset from, okay, let me not just focusing on selling, selling, selling all the time? Yes, you have to make money, but there are steps to building
Yes.
up to that point. So kind of talk to
Okay.
us about that mind.
So the focus should be on content marketing. There's a difference between marketing and content marketing. So marketing is basically sell, sell, sell. It's you learning how to sell your product, which is very important. However, content marketing is actually what sells,
Mm.
right? It's kind of like if you see a piece of content, it looks that it's kind of, I guess in a sense, it's like deceivingly good content, you know what I mean? Stuff that you think is entertaining or you think is just so witty, so silly, so shareable.
Mhm.
That is good stuff that like you because they think it's really cool. So nobody's gonna promote your ad that says, "Hey, for $12.99, da, da, da,"
Mhm.
right? So it's learning how to be so creative with the process of learning how to sell your product in a way that people don't even know they're being sold to. Of course,
Mm.
we're really smart these days. We know, but like we like to be deceived. You know what I mean? We like to be like, oh,
You
that's
got
sweet.
me.
I get it. You know what I mean? It's like share.
Right.
So I think you have to learn the how to be creative with it, which is hard. That's I
Right.
mean, there's whole creative strategy teams that
Mhm.
come up with and some that might seem really cool are a total flop. You just never ever really know until you execute it. So which is why it's so important to constantly be creating. You have to be creating just as much as you're consuming, if not more.
Yes. Oh my God, that is so powerful. And guys, comment below if you have any questions about anything that she's stating. For those of you guys who are mobile, I know that you can't type in the chat, so please email us because very soon we're going to open up Q&A and we'll have those questions available. But in the meantime, I love, Elaine, that you mentioned something so powerful. Like always, you always mention a whole bunch of gems, so I know everyone's just like, oh my God, let me just write, let me just. But you said something so powerful, which I can immediately relate to, because just like how you were saying, people love to be deceived. And so I don't know if you've ever been like this before. I've come across this so many times where I would go on a page, or if I'm looking up something, I love to do research. I love to just, grow as much as possible. And sometimes I would just, click a link on Google. Maybe it would say how to X, Y, and Z. And then finally you get to this page, or you get to this blog, and then something pops up and says, get my free, whatever the case is, or get my 10-step checklist, whatever the case is, or a free video. And you're just like, dang, I don't want to opt in into another email list, but dang, I need
Yeah.
this, or dang, I want this. So, okay, fine. So that has happened to me many times before, where it's just like, oh my God, I don't need another email list. I don't need another, whatever the case is, but you're providing value to me. So I have no choice but to actually get this. So I love how you shared how, value is the most important thing, and content marketing is so important because it's the best way to sell, rather than just being, how a lot of people say, I'm afraid to be salesy. Well, if you're afraid to be salesy, then get into content marketing. Right? Because,
Exactly.
yeah. I
Yeah.
love that.
And
So,
honestly, I feel like with good content, like as I said about the shareable thing, it's also it's a word of mouth thing too. Like the
mm,
other day, a publication reached out to me because to like I guess like some of their interns learned about me, and they were like, "You need to reach out to Lady Boss Blogger because her content is so good." And I was like, "Oh my God," that like touched me like in my
wow.
heart. I was like, "Wow!" So like your content will speak for itself. You just have to continuously produce it.
Yes. And there's something else that you said, that I really, really resonate with, where you basically said you always want to be creating. And I love that. Oh my God, yes. Because I feel like most entrepreneurs, especially for the entrepreneurs that really just want to go out with a bang, and those entrepreneurs that don't just want to be a one hit wonder. You just made like $1,000 or $5,000 one time and that's it, and then you just you don't know what happened to your business. But if you really want to have a profitable business, reoccurring income, etc., and for it to continuously increase, you always want to be creating, or you always want to be, ahead of the game, because at the end of the day, you don't want to be behind, because the reality is, the times are changing. Marketing is changing. What's in today may not be in tomorrow. So kind of talk to us about that. How do you stay up to date with, with your brand? How do you stay relevant? Because I think a lot of entrepreneurs, especially for those of you guys who want to get into email marketing, if you look at your inbox today, you're going to see thousands of emails from different brands who are literally competing with that space, right? For those of you guys got my emails, for those of you guys who got Lady Boss Blogger's email, everyone's competing for that space in the inbox. So how do you stay relevant?
Number one thing, and the only thing, is consistency.
Hmm.
So, I mean, from the get-go, I've not stopped producing a brand new piece of content every single day for one new blog post at 6 p.m. every single day. And I have done that for 2 years. So imagine like how much content I have out there
Mhm.
for the amount of time I've been in business. So a lot of people are like, wow, I cannot believe it's only been 2 years. And like we just hit the 2 year mark. And I was like, yeah, it's because of my content, right? So I kind of think about like this, like about the relevancy, what you're talking about,
Mhm.
of the sense of if you go home after 6 p.m. and you're like, okay, I just want to relax, I want to watch my show, and you turn on the TV and the show is not there, right? The
Mhm.
content that you want to digest is not available. The first time you might be like, okay, that's kind of weird. Maybe I'll give it a try next time. Then the next day it's not there again. You're like, all right, I'm done. I'm moving on.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Usually, and some people don't even give it one chance. They're like, really? Like it's not on. I'm done with the show,
Mm.
right? So you have to think of yourself as a show. People are out there watching. No, they don't. People are also like really silly. You know, they pretend as if they don't watch you, but they do. You know,
Mm,
or like it's just really funky. So like there are always people checking you out, seeing what your next move is, seeing what you're doing. So but honestly, you have to be doing it for yourself. You know, like yes, you have to listen to your audience, but if it doesn't fulfill you, which is what I teach in my course, is like about your why.
mhm,
You know, like if it doesn't make you happy, if it doesn't spur you on about what you're specifically doing, you're not going to be happy doing it, and you're not going to last very long, right? So if in order to be consistent, it's like think about something that you do consistently every single day, you know, and work your, you know, your schedule, your posting schedule around that. Like for example, you brush your teeth every single day, 3 times a day, every single time, maybe not 3 times a day. My mom does that, but most people once or twice, probably twice, right? Morning and night. So if you once you brush your teeth in the morning, you post. Then you brush your teeth at night, you post. You know what I mean? Like think about your
mm.
content around your everyday schedule so that it can become something that's routine for you. Because once it becomes routine for you, then people will start, then you'll actually start attracting a following. You know, like those YouTube stars where they're like, check me out, I'm posting your new content every Saturday at 6 p.m., you know, come back then. People start getting used to
Right.
that, you know? So like you have to think of yourself as a channel.
Mhm.
Everything single thing that you post is a channel. So like all my content posts at 6 p.m. Everyone knows that. You know, if you didn't, now you know. So,
Yeah.
and it's the central time. So basically, yeah. So you know exactly when to, you know, check it out.
Right.
So
Oh my
consistency
god.
is key.
Right. Oh my God. Yes. Guys, come below if you feel like she is giving you gems right now. Cause I'm just like, yes, 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 yes. Early this morning, she's giving me energy. But I love it. I love it. And that is so powerful. Consistency, consistency. And I think um you've also, of course, interviewed tons of boss babes, and I'm sure you one of the major things that you would see, and please share with me if I'm missing something, but I would say maybe one of the major things that you can agree that you've heard a lot of is consistency, of how consistency really helped them to reach, I apologize, the level that they are now, because most brands, the brands that you see today, you may not see tomorrow. That's the reality. The brands that you may have seen last month, they're probably not posting anymore, or they're probably not selling anymore this month, or whatever the case is. So I love that you're talking about how, consistency is what really got you to where you are today. So as far as email marketing, can you kind of talk to us a little bit about different setups, as in automation? Because I
Mhm.
think a lot of people, they think of, okay, well, if I have to use email marketing now, my time is gone. Because a lot of people want to
What do you
add
mean by
more
that?
time, as in some people don't really understand automation. So even though, yes, they do have an email list, but they don't really know how to actually work their email list and automate it, or how to automate their sales, if that makes better sense, how to
Okay.
actually automate their sales.
So with number one, with with content, right? Every single piece of content that you post, you should probably be sending that, because it should be probably be good, to your email list as well, in a different format. So for example, if you post a blog post, about like 5 tips on how to XYZ, then you can, maybe change the format. I always make sure to send myself a preview copy of what it looks like on phone. So basically, if the words are cut off, that's a bad
Right.
headline, you know? So always making sure that it's in line so that people will actually open it.
Mhm.
And going back a little bit about what I was talking about consistency with everything, it's the same thing with automation, right? In the sense of like, if you have a set schedule for posting, then you're automatically gonna have a set schedule for emailing as well. So basically, just sending out your blog post, sending out your content, on the week, every single time at the same time. That way, you already know what you're sending out. It's not like you don't have to come up with new concepts, right? So that's number one, is how you can automate obviously it's not exactly automation because you have to set it up, but how you can automatically is what I was talking about before, was creating sequences, in the sense of like automation that people can sign up automatically. So, and that's another way you can segment your list, which basically means that like not everybody may want to learn about like if you just talk about one thing, that's great. But I talk about influencer and I talk about blogging. So I talk about two different things. I wouldn't go too much past two or three because that's just that's
A
just
lot.
kind of losing your list a little bit. And it's just not as focused. But basically, you can when they sign up for these different courses, if they're in both courses, you know that they like to receive content from both. If they just sign up for one and not the other, then you know that they're just interested in blogging or just interested in becoming an influencer, right? So using your courses as a way to learn about your audience and what they want to learn about is a good way to know who to send the email to as well. So that's a great way of quote like and learning about your audience. So does that answer the question?
Yes, yes, that answers the question. And as far as scheduling, w- what is your actual schedule? So like, do you have a setup? Do you actually have a sheet or something like that where you're just like, okay, this month I'm doing this, or do you plan out? Do you do like a full setting in one, I don't know, 1 week, 1 month, and you're just like, okay, I'm gonna plan out my whole content for 6 months or for a whole year? What
Yeah.
is your system? Because I know that every entrepreneur does it differently. Some people just do it maybe 2 weeks out. Some people do it maybe for 60 days. Some people actually take that time to do it for the whole year. So, what would you say? What would you suggest, and how do you personally do yours?
So how I do, let me talk about a little bit about everything, the bigger picture. So how I do my blog post is I have it on like a Google calendar, and every single day I have like the listed out what it is. Then for my social media, I have everything on automation with a smarter queue. You can check it out at ladybossblogger.com/smarterqueue. Then for email, I actually, whenever I send out, it actually revolves around affiliate promotions. So I actually don't schedule out my email super, super far in advance. Everything else I do, except for my email, because I feel like email is my moneymaker, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if there is, and brands don't tell you about their promotions until like that month or until, whatever it is. So when they tell me about it, then I create content for it and then I blast it out when it's relevant to that brand so that, the promotions are valid. So I would say, honestly, I don't plan out, in a sense, my email blasts. I plan it according to affiliate promotions and my, because every time a blog post gets posted on my blog, it automatically becomes a draft in my in ConvertKit, which is the email platform that I use.
Okay.
So I can literally just go back and I can combine them. I can do whatever it is, but it does it automatically for me.
Awesome, awesome. I love that. Because I think a lot of entrepreneurs sometimes they get overwhelmed with all of the little pieces that you have to actually build your brand, and and then just to add email marketing into it. So I love that you mentioned that. But guys, for everyone else who's also considering doing email marketing, just know that every brand is different and every system is different, and what works for Elaine may not work for you, and what works for me may not work for you. So you just have to test things out. So, guys, we are opening up Q&A. Elaine literally just gave us so many gems, guys. Like literally gave us so many gems. I feel like I can literally have a diary right now of everything that you shared. So, guys, I want you guys to comment below your questions. Comment below your questions. I did receive some emails as well. So comment below your questions as quickly as possible, and then right after that, we'll have Elaine share with you how you can work with her if you have more questions about being a blogger, or how to set up your email list, or how to set up affiliate links, and etc. So we do have a question. Lachelle says, hi, Virginia. She says, this is great. Awesome. Awesome. I'm glad you guys are loving this. Queen Ash says, yes, I need to do better. Okay. Yes, do better with email marketing. Awesome. Victoria Jones says, which email automation system does she prefer? Okay. Awesome. That's a great question.
ConvertKit, you can check it out, ladybossblogger.com/CONV. ERTKIT. I chose this one over other ones because it's like the forums are easy to use. They're super on top of like affiliate help. They're super on top of, so basically you can promote them and then you can earn monthly revenue from them. As well as the majority of other ones. But like, if, for example, if you use MailChimp, you can't send emails that like pertain to, there's more regulations around that because it's not a paid service. Therefore, you can't operate it like a business because you're not paying for their service. So I think like you can't send Amazon links or something like that. I think just in general you can't send Amazon links, but there's different regulations with MailChimp that you cannot do, that you can do with stuff like ConvertKit, because ConvertKit is actually designed and created for creators specifically to make money online. How is it designed to do that? Number one, they have product tags. So basically every single time somebody, you know, like, but like it tags that person as, you know, a purchaser, or, you know, like somebody who has spent money on you. And another thing that they do is automation. So the ability to set up that free course within, you know, your email. Another thing that they do versus like, you know, MailChimp is that MailChimp, I mean, oftentimes, how many MailChimp emails do you actually receive in your inbox? Most of them get filtered out, right? With more powerful services like ConvertKit or Aweber or whatever, they have ways that they can actually get into your inbox. And let's see what else. Sequencing, you know, basically everything that I just talked about is just really powerful in what it can do.
Yeah, I completely agree. I also use ConvertKit, and I love it. I love it. I would say with ConvertKit, even when I first started, I literally just directly, actually, no, I'm lying. Sorry. I started, I use, was it Wix? Wix also has a email. No? Or was I wrong?
Wix, the
Anyways.
website?
Yeah. But maybe I
Oh,
was just using it as the broadcast or the newsletters. I'm not exactly too sure. Maybe I'm confusing it all.
I
But
don't
for
know
sure,
about
I don't
Wix.
know. Yeah. But anyways, but ConvertKit is really awesome. For those of you guys who are using MailChimp, like Victoria, she says, okay, I have to build up to ConvertKit. For those of you guys who can't currently, maybe if it's maybe just because of you know, budgeting or whatever the case is, then yeah, most definitely use MailChimp until you finally get to a point where you're starting to make some type of revenue. But I would most definitely highly suggest, just like Elaine stated, ConvertKit is like the way to go. It's the way to go. It's more professional. It's much easier. They provide you so much tools. So that's awesome. Elaine says, Elaine, Victoria says, how can you get your emails not going into the spam folder? How many emails per week to send?
It really depends on, you know, what you told your audience you're going to send. You know, if they're expecting daily emails from you, send it daily. If they're expecting weekly, I would say, I mean, think about yourself. Think about how you like to go through emails. If like, you know, the same person keeps popping up 5 times every single day, I mean, you're probably going to unsubscribe, right? So just think about how you like to receive emails. Think about, but more than anything, I would think less about the how many times you send it. I was thinking more about the headline of what you send, because the headline is what's going to get the click, not the frequency per se. So the more relevant your headline is, the better your email will do.
Yeah. Oh my God, that's amazing. And if you can kind of share, because I think a lot of people also miss that point where they're just like, oh, you know, I'm trying to make sure the email inside of the email is looking beautiful, you know?
No, no. So I've tested this and I've talked to so many marketers about this, about the beautiful email.
Mhm.
It doesn't work. The more simple, the better. Like I have all my settings on ConvertKit as the most simple, basic, basic,
Mhm.
basic. And even with like, I mean, and that's another reason why I chose ConvertKit, though actually before it was even more basic than it was now, but because of the GDPR laws that they have. But basically, um, it's so simple that like it makes you have to think like that there's no other options. You know what I mean? So basically, if you receive an email and it has like a billion things, you don't know where to look. You know, so
Mhm.
more than likely you're not going to do
Right.
anything. If it's a really simple email, it has one link and it has 3 bolded text or whatever, you'll be like, okay, I know this is where I'm supposed to click, and you do it. So
Yeah.
simple is king.
Yes, it's king. Well, queen, you know.
Ah, yes, king and queen together.
Right. But yeah, I love that you mentioned that because, a lot of people sometimes they miss this where if you give people too many options or if you give them too many things to look at, sometimes it gets overwhelming where they're just like, okay, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to click first. I don't know what to do. So I'm just not going to do anything. So I love that you mentioned that. That's awesome. We have, let's see. Victoria says, that's annoying. Oh, the headline.
That,
Yes.
I mean, think about it like this. It's kind of like if you wrap a present so beautifully that you don't want to open it because or you wrap it and it looks really enticing and you want to open it. Like, yeah, you have to think about it like that, you know what I mean? In the sense of like, if you have such amazing content, such an amazing chocolate inside, right? But no one of the chocolate. There's
Mm.
absolutely no point. Chocolate was designed to be eaten. Okay.
Right.
So is your content digested.
That is right. I love it. I love it. Yes, the candy lady.
I mean, if you can't tell, I am a chocolate fanatic. So
So, as far as, give me one second. Okay. So what would you say, guys? We're gonna wrap up. So please comment your last questions, and then Elaine will share with you how you can work with her if you want to work with her, if you want to explore any of the opportunities that she has available. But what would you say, Elaine, was the number one? If you can think about, for as long as you've been in business, for as long as you've been an entrepreneur, and all of the interviews you've had, and all of the mentors and that you've been introduced to, what is one major tip, one major conversation that you had that was just a complete breakthrough for you? Something that someone told you that completely just changed your whole entire way of doing business.
it was actually last year, January. I was talking to a business mentor on the phone. It was like an introduction by a friend, and I was just like telling him all my amazing ideas and my plans and blah, blah, blah. And he literally said, "So what?" And I was like, excuse me. I thought this was supposed to be helpful. And so, but he was like, so what? He's like, who cares about all these ideas if like, he's like, who are you helping? I was like, I'm helping female entrepreneurs all around the world. And he was like, basically, he made me think deeper. Like, how is your business impacting the world? The world, not only not, but people who are in need, you know? And I was like, whoa, it just like kind of like, change my perspective on why people should be even in business, right? And so basically, I that day I dedicated my business to helping the Micah Project, which is basically the Micah Project is a home for street boys in Honduras. And it's actually the home that picked up my husband when he was a kid, when he was a teenager.
Oh.
And it was also the place that Lady Boss Blogger was started because when I moved down there, we didn't have a home. And so we basically
Wow.
stayed there for a few months as we were looking for a home, like a place to rent, basically. So it's been really, really relevant in both of our lives. And like we have a lot of connections, a lot of ties with them. And it was time to give back and time to connect the business to the bigger picture. Because I feel like when you think about your business in, I don't know, just, yeah, the bigger picture, you can't stop. It motivates you more than anything else. Something that like, if you, I don't know, kind of like if you fail, like you're failing all of them. It's not just about you anymore,
Wow.
which is, I think it has been a game changer for me in the sense of just my mindset of why should people even be making, this kind of money, even if you don't think that it's within the budget. It's never within the budget to donate. It's never ever within the budget. You just have to do it, And so, yeah, I think that that's what's changed my life, honestly, when he told me
Wow.
that. So what?
Wow. Oh my God. I think
Yes.
I feel like if someone were to tell me that, and I'm just like, of course, I'm sure you going into that conversation and, before you even met him, I'm sure you're just like, oh my God, I can't wait until this call, or I can't wait until this conversation is going to be so, amazing breakthrough. He's going to just pour into me and tell me all these great things.
Yes.
Oh my God, I'm excited. And then you get here.
Right. I haven't talked to him since, honestly, but he really changed my perspective.
Wow, that is amazing. And I'm so glad that you shared that, because I think as entrepreneurs, we do have to always sometimes, think big picture, like you stated. It's awesome to have money. It's awesome to have an amazing brand. It's awesome to build this amazing empire. But,
But why? What's it for? What's your
right.
platform gonna be about?
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah, because that's what gets people even more magnetic to your cause or to your brand. What is that brand called? Geez, I'm sure everyone knows it. I just can't remember. Tom Shoes, right? I don't know if you've ever heard of. I'm sure maybe you
Yeah,
have.
yeah,
I
yeah.
don't know. Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
awesome. But yeah, Tom Shoes. A lot of people have heard of this brand where basically I don't remember the full story, but basically he started an amazing brand, and it was really related to giving back. And so, if I'm not mistaken, for every sale, for every purchase, he would donate a free pair of shoes to someone who couldn't afford one whether it was a third world country or whatever the case is. And a lot of people gravitated to that because they're just like, oh my God, yeah, I can go buy a pair of shoes at Nike's, or I can buy a pair of shoes with Tom's and still give back.
Mhm.
So I love that you talked about that, because your why is so important, and I love that you shared about your why. I love that you're giving back, and I'm excited. I'm so excited about your journey. I'm excited about your success. I'm excited about what God's about to do more in your life. So thank you so much for sharing. Guys, comment below if you feel like, wow, she just shared so much. Okay, comment below if you're just like, oh my God, yes,
You're
yes,
such an
Elaine.
encourager. Like I'm like over here at cloud nine, like, oh my God,
No,
Virginia.
I love it. I love it. I love it. You're doing amazing. Guys, comment below if you're just like, oh my God, yes, yes, yes. I'm going to Elaine's house right now. I'm going to Orlando. Let's go. Let's get it.
Come to Chicago. Actually, don't. It's really cold here. I like to have this fake background, fur on, super cold.
But I love it. So, Elaine, how can we work with you? If we have more questions about blogging, if we have more questions about how to really increase our brand, really make a impact, what can we do to connect with you, to work with you? Yeah, share with us.
Did you want me to share the
Yeah,
screen?
anything. Yeah, whatever you would like.
Okay. How do you do that? Oh, screen share. Here we go. Okay. Can you see it?
Let's see. Yes. Mm-hmm.
So this is basically so there's a few ways that you can work together. Here are my courses. So basically, you can sign up for the free 7-day How to Start a Money Making Blog course. Or if you're already a blogger, I also have the 21-day How to Build a Better Blog challenge, basically. And then, so these two are, they lead up to the paid 3-month How to Start an Actual Money Making Blog, because there are people who have been blogging or who for years and haven't made revenue from it. So that's basically, that if you want. And then if you want to become an influencer, I have a 3 free day How to Become an Instagram Influencer, and then a paid 3-month How to Make Money as an Influencer, because just like literally everything. So that's the 5 ways that we can work together. There's other ways. If you are a female a female entrepreneur, we do interviews and guest posts. So if you're interested in being interviewed or guest posting, you can click on these 2 links. If you want to follow us on social media, listed out all the way over here. We also have internships if you're interested in getting involved in blogging, social media, public relations, marketing, sales, or video creation. And let's see, what else? Yeah, that's it.
Awesome. 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 So, guys, you heard it from Elaine herself, guys. She's an incredible boss babe. She's literally breaking records. She's teaching other entrepreneurs how to literally, increase their revenue, how to build an amazing platform, especially if you want to learn how to blogging. She knows what she's talking about. So, make sure you follow her, go to her website, check out what she has available. And if you have any specific questions that you want to ask more from her, make sure go on her, Instagram or email her. And once again, thank you so much, Elaine, for hopping on. Thank you for spending some time with us. I know it's cold over there. It's warm over here. I'm sorry. But thank you so much. And guys, thank you for hopping on. If you have any questions, also feel free to email us and we'll see you guys soon. Stay tuned for our next email. Bye, guys.
Bye. Thank you.